Welcome to Center Cup. I'm Will Neary here with just Nick Newmeyer today. Kyle will be joining us, I imagine, tomorrow. We're still figuring out the Open Championship schedule, but I imagine it'll be tomorrow that we do our full big preview for that to give everybody some time to listen to it on Wednesday. But we had, I know the attention's kind of on the Open Championship right now and people are starting to pivot, but we had a pretty busy week in golf before the Open Championship. Obviously, we had the Genesis Scottish Open, where we had Tom Kim back in action. It's certifiably back, I'm pretty sure, at this point. It's kind of crazy that he can have a ton of success, kind of disappear for like a year and a half, and then come back and still be 24 years and 1 month old, but we'll get to that. The Evian out in France, where we had Heyron Yu win her second major. It was like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, second major in 3 weeks.
Yeah, literally like 2 weeks. I think it might even be 2 weeks. That's
a month ago. I'm pretty sure she was a 0-time major champion, and now she is a 2-time major champion. So congratulations to her. Brooke Henderson coming up just short there, but an exciting finish nonetheless. ISCO Championship will end the throw a little attention to Marty Fish at the American Century Championship for like 2 seconds, but. We're going to focus on those two, and then maybe get a little talk about the Open or links golf or whatever we want to get to. But we'll start with the Genesis. I talked a little bit about it, but Nick, what did you think of Tom Kim, the 24-year-old, the young man, just back in action? He seems to love links golf. I mean, he's had some good finishes at the Genesis. He's had some good finishes at the Open. What are we feeling? What are we thinking heading towards next week? Maybe is there a little? Are we getting nervous?
Yeah, I mean, this was one of those, I was saying the same thing about Matt Fitzpatrick when he was leading the way as well. I'm like, dude, you got to chill out. You can't win this week because that's going to just screw you for next week. But I think Tom Kim is someone that really likes links golf. He's never finished outside the top 25 at the Genesis. Wow. It was his first top 10 of his PGA Tour career came at the Genesis. And then he had his, I believe it was T3. Or it was second place at the Open Championship in 2023, the year later.
I think he ended up like 3-putting for it to be T3 or something like that. Oh no, you're right. It was T2. Yeah. It was T2.
Yeah, T2. Yeah, there we go. And so this is someone that's just very good and was very good for a very long time. I think this is one of those, we haven't really had a really good comeback story on the PGA Tour this year. We've had some really good storylines of, obviously, Matt Fitzpatrick's been really good after a sort of subpar year last year. Obviously, you have Chris Gotterup's resurgence. But I think one of the real big storylines has to be Tom Kim's resurgence. This was a guy that he became the first player since Tiger Woods with multiple PGA Tour wins before turning 21 years old. He won, so he got that T10 at the Genesis in 2022. And then I believe it was 4 starts later, he got his first win. And then 2 starts later, he did it again. And, this is a guy that, people were thinking that this was going to be the PGA Tour's next big star. He was getting the Jordan Spieth, the Colin Morikawa treatment of this is the next young guy. And then it kind of just all fell apart. He was chasing distance off the tee. He became even more erratic because of those changes. He went through caddies, coaches, tried just about everything he could to figure out what he can get out of it. This was up until his T6, I believe, at the Myrtle Beach, at the One Flight this past year. That was his first top 10 in over a year. And this is a guy that we were calling Tom Sim earlier in the year because the most notable things he was doing came on fucking TGL.
Yeah.
So
got that ace, that TGL ace.
Yeah. You can't take that away from him.
No.
And so it's really good to see him come back. It's really, this was a guy that, up until, once the President's Cup kind of happened, when he did the Gangnam style dance on the tee box.
He and Siwoo were running around doing the Steph Curry.
Yeah, he was he was the coolest person in the world at the President's Cup. And then came, he kind of started to irritate a lot of people with slow play, and that kind of began to dominate the conversation. And, you kind of forgot just how precious that 2022-2023 season was. And so for him to be back on top, like obviously you saw how much it meant to him because he was fighting back tears in the scorer's tent. You could just tell how much it meant to him. He joked on the 18th green when they handed him a trophy. He's like, I forgot how heavy these things are. He's like, I haven't held one of these in so long.
Yeah, I mean, one of the craziest things. First of all, I mean, it is funny. Like, it feels like it's been forever. It's been, essentially a year and a half since he wasn't. It was really 2023 that he was really, really shining. 2024, he had some good finishes, but no wins. But it was nuts seeing him in the interviews afterwards be like, "Oh yeah, like I've been doing this for like almost 10 years." And you're like, "Man, aren't you 24?" And then sure enough, yeah, 2015 or 16, I guess it would be, or maybe even 17. He turned professional at the age of 15 years old on the Philippine Golf Tour, and obviously it's hard to dig up records from that. But you go back to 2018, and he's getting top 15 finishes on the Asian Tour. Again, 2018, he's 24 years old now. That was 8 years ago. So he was 16 years old doing that on the Asian Tour. If you look at his 17-year-old season on the Asian Tour, it is pretty preposterous. He won, some of this is on the Golf Tour of India as well, but a bunch of wins stacked up, like pretty much all top fives. Looks like Scotty Scheffler over the past couple of years, which we'll get to him as well. But by the way, Tom Kim's good buddy, Scotty Scheffler, that they played a bunch of golf together down there in Dallas. But no, it was great. I mean, I think too, part of what made this week so fun to watch, and I'm not gonna pretend like I'm the biggest Tom Kim. Like, I like Tom Kim a lot, but I'm not I wouldn't quantify myself as a Tom Kim fan in the way that I would quantify myself as like a Cam Young fan or whatever. Like, there's guys we like, and I like Tom Kim, but I wouldn't put myself on the wagon. But what was really cool about his resurgence is that you kind of had like the RBC Canadian Open. It's like, okay, cool, like T15, like cool. Like, we haven't really seen much of Tom Kim. We saw him at the Myrtle Beach, like you said, but RBC, bigger stage, first time we've really seen him. Like, nice, okay, cool. Next week, he Monday qualifies for the U.S. Open. Or final qualifies for the U.S. Open, I should say, not Monday qualifies. And he finishes solo third there, which is, obviously that's a much bigger stage. It's like, oh, great, like, cool. Tom Kim's, playing some really good golf. And I think, we talked about it on the show. We said it's, worth noting he's playing some really good golf, but it's just cool for that to like culminate in an actual win. I feel like there's a lot of time. I mean, you can talk about, obviously, a lot of these guys don't have the reputation that Tom Kim has. But you can talk about guys like Sudarshan Yellamarahu, who we've talked about a lot this year, who had a handful of really good finishes in a row that just don't get that win. And I guess that's kind of the difference when you get guys that are veterans like Tom Kim, even though he's really young, and have but he is, and have the top end talent that Tom Kim has. I mean, again, 4 wins at barely 24 years old is not small stuff. I feel like this always happens with every time he wins or every time Akshay wins. You're forced to be like, oh, I forgot that this dude's like 23, 24 years old. Like, he's got like 4 wins already. Oh my God. Like, he's so far ahead of the bell curve. I think, what is it? Scotty Scheffler didn't win until he was 25, right? And obviously,
right.
I don't think Tom Kim's going to go on the run that Scotty Scheffler's been on the last 4 years. But at the same time, it's just, it's worth remembering that not all this stuff, this guy's really young. These guys are really young. It'll be cool to see if he can back it up at the Open. Do I think he's going to win? Probably not. But like you said, he loves links golf. He's been T2 at an Open Championship before. Why not? Why not? Why couldn't he be in contention when he's playing this well? And he seems to have, watching all those interviews, he seems to have a pretty good head on his shoulders for a 24-year-old too, taking it week by week and, not trying to ride a win or a good week or a bad week into the next. So yeah, that was a really long-winded way of saying I'm really excited to see him back on top. And he does have that. He's I know, there was not a lot of people loved the President's Cup or the celebrations he had with Siwoo Kim, some of that stuff. I think people liked him, but some people also weren't huge fans. But he does have a little bit of swagger to him, and you could see how excited he was, like you said, to win that one. He's throwing fist pumps out there. He's a happy camper when he's playing good golf, and that's always fun to see.
The coolest thing was that the first text he got was from Tiger.
I think, dude, I'm because I feel like every time somebody wins, I think Tiger's got some bot set up. I have a theory. I'm working on it because I feel like we've heard this story 7 times where guys walk off their first major win and they're like, man, first text I got was Tiger Woods. It's how is he getting these out this fast? I swear he has some bot tied into PGA Tour's contact universe that anytime somebody wins an event of a certain threshold, it just like auto fires a text from. But then again, well, probably not with Tom Kim because they are on the same TGL team, and I think they're actually like pretty tight as far as
I mean, it made sense when he was injured. Like he could do nothing but just like sit on the
Yeah,
couch.
sit on the
So
couch.
it's like it wouldn't shock me if he gets the first one off. Whereas now it's like I don't know. I don't know what he's doing right now, but
Might just be sitting on the couch.
honestly, yeah, that is true. But yeah, it's just a great week for Tom Kim. Like, just very, very happy for him. You know, I think you said some people didn't like those. Like, did people not like those celebrations? Or did they just not like he was beating the U.S.?
I think it was probably more that, you look for
Yeah.
excuses to dig at international players when you're losing, especially when you're losing. I mean, they were playing like alternate shot and they were like 7 under through 12 or something like that, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what the numbers were, but it was something preposterous. And they were celebrating all over the place. And yeah, I think it was more, like you said, people were probably just a little bit pissed off. I liked it. I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah, I loved it.
Should we talk about his good personal friend, Scotty Scheffler?
I think we should.
Yeah, it's been talked about it enough. We don't have to talk about it too much because obviously this is now 3 days post Scotty Scheffler first missed cut. But still, when something happens for the first time since August of 2022, it's worth mentioning. The streak of, I believe it was 78 straight made cuts comes to an end. I do want to throw a flag on that play a little bit. Because this also came up.
Not you two,
dude. You don't know where I'm going yet, but you probably did. But this came up too when Xander had the really long streak of made cuts. I think he actually had a longer one than Scotty up until I think it was towards the end of last year, maybe around this time last year that he lost. I forget exactly what it was, but the fact that they count no cut events as made cuts in that metric is a little crazy. Like, I think it's something like, it's still very impressive. It's something like 50 odd made cuts at cut events, but we got to be excluding signature events and no cut events from the made cut graphic. He didn't make a cut. The cut he made, I guess, was being good enough to be in the field in the first place. But
yeah, so it's like, I feel like that's kind of fair.
I don't know. It's tough for me. I also we'd have to go back and look through. It's hard for me to even imagine that there's more than like one of those events where he would have missed any theoretical cut at it. So probably arbitrary in the first place. But it's just, they got to at least throw a graphic on there. I know they just want to say 78, but anyways, either way, the streak is over. So missed cut out of Scotty and out of Xander.
That was weird.
I don't know. Yeah, and out of Nelly, but we'll get to that. I mean,
it was a weird week for golf.
It was a really weird week for golf. It's kind of been, I talked about this a little bit heading into the Genesis. It's weird looking through, and this is kind of outside of Scotty, so maybe I should hold on to this one. But it's weird looking through all the, you look at Xander, you look at guys like Ludwig. There's a lot of players that had really hot streaks during the season that are kind of running cold right now. Cam Young's another one. And it's just a weird, when you're heading into a major and trying to figure out who might win it, and you're like, okay, well, almost all the best players are running cold, and all other than Chris Gotterup, and Wyndham Clark and Sam Burns. So it's trying to figure that out when we get to our open preview is going to be tough. But back to Scotty. I mean, are we worried, or are we just kind of saying this is a flash in the pan, whatever?
If this was anybody else, I wouldn't be worried. I think, just the fact that it's been nearly 4 years since he last missed the cut, it's noteworthy, but I think this was due for a very long time. He's had several starts, I think Pebble, he almost missed the cut. Riviera, he almost missed the cut. He's had several starts where he's been on the cusp of that and found a way to pull it through. I think this was a long time coming, and I think now that he finally did it, I think there's not the pressure of, oh my god, he's gonna snap this super long streak. I do want to I wrote an article the day of, sort of looking at what the world as a whole looked like when the last time Scotty Scheffler missed the cut, just going through some pop culture moments. I want to read some of them because I think they're really funny. First off, Cam Smith was the reigning Open champion the last time Scotty Scheffler missed a cut, which is
I mean, just the
crazy
fact that he
in and
was
of
still on the
itself.
PGA Tour is enough to be
Right.
like, oh my god. And John Rahm was like a year away from leaving. It's like, oh my god.
Rory was Grand Slamless.
Yeah,
I
it
don't think
wasn't.
Bryson had a YouTube channel yet. Like,
No, probably not. Yeah,
Queen
and
Elizabeth was still alive. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce would not meet for another year.
Wow.
Albert Pujols didn't have 700 home runs yet. This one's going to hurt for the Chicago people here. Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane were about to play their last season with the Blackhawks. Better Call Saul was days away from its series finale. I never watched that show, but that struck me as interesting. I think Scotty missed the cut on the Friday, and then the finale ran on that Monday. Tom Brady and Serena Williams were both still active players. I think you said in your article, Will, that Scotty Scheffler's made cut streak lasted longer than Serena's retirement.
Yeah. And Tom Brady had technically retired because Serena came back this year. Tom Brady had technically retired that February, and then like 40 days later was like, psych, I'm back, and then did one more season with the Bucks. But yeah, Serena came back. What was it, a month ago or so for her first event, something like that?
Yeah, well, this past weekend, or not, I guess not this weekend, but I didn't know Wimbledon lasted like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was that long.
I got to be honest, I'm just not tapped in on tennis. I've got enough other sports. My Red Sox are on a 9-game win streak. I got too much else going on in my brain. I'm like starting to think I'm in the midst of a dynasty fantasy football redraft right now with 24-hour picks. So I'm a little scatterbrained at the moment. But tennis is has never been front and center for me. But yeah, I mean the fact that Serena Williams and Tom Brady were still active players, obviously Tom Brady half retired, but then he came back. This was pre-Serena real retirement. Pre-Tom Brady retirement is nuts. I mean, that feels like centuries ago.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on like in 2022 when Scotty Scheffler last missed the cut. And I think that's, we've been saying like throughout the year that like I personally don't think like I said already, I don't think this is like, I'm not pulling the panic. Like I think he's still in the top 10 at Birkdale.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about him whatsoever. I do think it's, it is a very interesting point that the top players of the world, you have Scotty, Xander missed the cut, Rahm didn't really do much of anything in Scotland. Rory is so bad at golf. Bryson is just out in the shadow realm. It's like,
what's funny, and actually, you finish first. I just developed a take, but I'll let you go first.
Who's gonna win the Open? Like everybody's playing bad right now. Like you either have guys that are playing too bad, or you have guys like Tom Kim, Chris Gotterup, and Matt Fitzpatrick that are almost playing too good right now.
Yeah, I mean it's true, and like what I was gonna say is like, maybe this is stupid. I just thought of this. I kind of believe it though. I feel like Rory's tournament worried me more. I know he finished T7, but I feel like I'm more concerned by Rory shooting a 73 on a Saturday where it wasn't like more difficult for the field than I am with Scotty just throwing 2 bad rounds out there and missing the cut.
Yeah, and that was I mean, I think Rory kind of got bailed out by the fog in the sense that like he was on for like, I think he was like 3 over through 8. Like he was on for like maybe like a 76 or 76. Like I know it's Rory, like you don't want to say that, but like he was on for a really bad round. Yeah. And then he got to go home and sleep and came back, played a lot better on Sunday, but yeah, that was not
66, good. 73, 64. And that 73, it just felt like totally different player came out of nowhere for like almost a whole round where you were just like, what the hell? Where did this come from? Like,
No, to be fair, like they did go off at 6 p.m. local time.
Yes. Yeah. That's
so
good.
I'm more willing to kind of toss that one out just because like I forget who mentioned it, but it was even just the fact that they were able to have 2 meals in a day before they played their rounds.
It was funny when they released the like revised tee times and they were like Tom Kim teeing off at like 6:25 p.m. or some whatever it was. Like imagine teeing off for like a theoretically full round of golf with like intense tournament golf at 6 p.m. I can't even imagine.
It's like you already have your routine throughout the day. Like he probably was getting warmed up when they called it the first time, and then he came back, did it again.
Yeah.
You know you're not going to finish your rounds. Like,
Yeah.
what does that do to you, knowing that you're not going to finish?
But to
Like,
answer your question, I kind of think this sets up a little too perfectly for Tommy Fleetwood to win the Open.
I've been seeing that, and like I
Well,
kind of
just
like it.
part of it is, the storyline of it all, right? Like it's, Tommy Fleetwood winning at Royal Birkdale, where when he was a kid, he would go, sneak out and hit shots on Royal Birkdale. Part of that is the story, obviously, the whole Tommy Fleetwood pursuit of a major championship story, the fact that he's got that one win and it's the FedEx Cup. But another part of it is like you said, it's just like, I mean, God, it doesn't seem like anybody else is going to win this. And obviously, Tommy's playing well right now in his last few events. I mean, T13 at the Genesis Scottish Open, T14 at the Travelers, T11 at the U.S. Open, T11 at the Canadian Open, T4 at the Memorial Tournament. Those are his last 5 events. His last few Open Championships, 2025, T16. Did miss the cut in 2024, but then a T10 in 2023, a T4 in 2022. And the storyline is setting up a little too perfectly. It's like, the storybook where it's like you just kind of see where it's going. One of those ones where they don't actually do that great a job of like hiding the plot twist or hiding the reveal or whatever. It's like, okay, they're going to get together at the end of the rom-com. I see it coming. That's like Tommy at Royal Birkdale. It's like, I see it. Guys, like you're setting this up a little too clearly. Tommy Fleetwood's going to be lifting the claret jug on Sunday. Not that he's actually going to be my pick. I don't think I can stomach that, but it just does feel that way. It's just with the way Scotty's playing, the way Rory's playing. And it does it because Tommy's like, like I said, he's been sitting in that T13 or T10 to T20 range for the last 4 events. It almost feels like you said Matt Fitzpatrick's playing too good. Like it's like you can't win when you're playing that good, right? Like it's just almost.
Well, I would almost argue that this was the tournament that heading into, like, once he got on his run and I made my proclamation that he's going to win a major this year, this was the tournament I had in mind. Just because like, if you look at the course fit, like obviously it's not a perfect system on Data Golf just because they haven't played Birkdale since 2017. But if you look at the course fit model, it plays so good into Matt Fitzpatrick's hand because it's a ball striker's course and it's a course that is relying a lot on short game, iron play, and accuracy off the tee. And that screams Matt Fitzpatrick.
I 100% agree. I think all I'm trying to say is that like we're going to turn around on Wednesday night. You're going to see all the golf Twitter X, whatever you want to call it, all the golf like Twitter betting accounts being like the most picked this week. And it's going to be Matt Fitzpatrick, and that means he's not going to win. And
right, and it's like, but we've also been saying that for every single major too. Like Augusta, he looked really good. Aronimink, he looked really good, and then he would always get off to a slow start on Thursday and just not get off to and just not really be in contention by the end of the week. So it's like, even though like he's on probably some of his best form heading into a major. And he's heading to a course that really fits his game, probably. And, you throw in the added curveball that everybody else just sucks right now. Like,
yeah,
it's too good to be true. Like, I feel like I'm setting myself up for disappointment here.
Yeah. The weird part about his season, too, is that obviously it's been ridiculously impressive. He's got those 3 wins, T3 this week at the Genesis, 4th at the Travelers, 2nd at the RBC Canadian Open, 2nd at the Players Championship. But it's also, you look at the majors, and they're not bad finishes. He got a 22nd at the U.S. Open, a T14 at the PGA Championship, a T18 at the Masters. Like, that's not bad, but that's also, like, when you're taking that in the broader scheme of his season, it's not that great. Like, if you also look at where they fall, it's like solo 2nd at the RBC Canadian Open, 22nd at the U.S. Open, solo 4th at the Travelers. Won the Valspar, solo 2nd at the Players, won the Valspar Championship, T18 at the Masters, won the RBC Heritage, won the Zurich Classic. It's like the PGA is the one exception. He played poorly before and after it, but played well-ish at the PGA to get a T14. But it is like those are like 3 of his worst finishes on the year are on the biggest stages. So it's like you said, it feels like everything is pointing to Matt Fitzpatrick this week, and it is setting us up to just be like disappointed again.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. I'm knocking on wood. I would love to see
Yeah.
a Patrick win. That would be great. Or an Alex Fitzpatrick win. I want a Fitzpatrick this week.
Yeah. The Witch Doctor is back in action, and Alex missed the cut in Scotland, and so this is just adding fuel to your theory.
Yeah, there's a giraffe in a weird pit somewhere. Witch Doctor giraffe.
The dying hole.
Yeah, in the dying hole, right? A la Madagascar, but yeah, and that giraffe is deciding which Fitzpatrick brother. Right now, he's in the dying hole to deciding which Fitzpatrick brother to assign the golf abilities to this week at the Open Championship. Maybe he can conjure up a little extra power and give it to both, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this is starting to become a Open Championship preview. So let's.
I know. Yes, you're right. You're right.
Get back to the task at hand. Let's.
Okay, where did we leave off? Rory McIlroy, Matt Fitzpatrick. We talked about that. Minwoo. I like kind of a quiet solo second, but an impressive solo second nonetheless. Minwoo Lee at the Genesis. He had that stretch starting at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am where he was hitting on the range, hoping to maybe get into a playoff with Colin Morikawa. Ended up not quite getting in there. But he's logged some good finishes, T6 at the Arnold Palmer, T3 at Texas Children's, and now a solo second at the Genesis among a handful of other top 20s, etc. I don't have super high hopes. I was gonna pivot again and say something about the Open Championship, but I'm gonna hold my tongue and wait for tomorrow. I don't have super high hopes, but I mean, nonetheless, really impressive finish from Minwoo. He's another guy kind of similar to Tom Kim. I just feel like nobody's rooting against Minwoo Lee. Nobody's rooting against Tom Kim. Nobody's rooting against Chris Gotterup. Like, these are all guys that people are going to – frankly, nobody's really rooting against Matt Fitzpatrick. These are all guys that people are happy to see perform well. So, don't have a
This is where, like, the PGA Tour needs these guys, especially if their old guard is going to, Scotty's very much, even like miscut notwithstanding, Scotty's always been I think they were saying like, I was watching like the post game on CBS and they were saying, name the quote. I don't care about the victories. I'm not looking to inspire anybody. This is not where I draw fulfillment. It's like, who said that? And it's like, that's your face of the tour. So it's like Scotty is, performance-wise, he's the best. He's the face of the tour from a performance standpoint, but he desperately doesn't want to be that face. Rory doesn't come around enough to be that face. Matt Fitzpatrick is not yet endeared himself to the entire golf world. Tiger's off doing his own thing. So it's like, you kind of need a face. And, these young guys that people start to like, the Gotterups, the Tom Kims, the Minwoos, like, this is very good for the tour in terms of like
question. That's a conversation for another day to like get really deep into. But I am like identifying the non-Scotty face of the tour, because you're right. Like, yeah, it's like Scotty is the face of the tour.
Like,
no, because we don't have enough Fitz personality to take. Like,
right.
Obviously, like, remember that one time that we saw him on the back of the golf cart, like joking with his wife, and we were like, "Oh my God, he's funny." Like, that was like a revelation that he has any personality, just because he doesn't talk that much, and he's so like data oriented too that I feel like everybody thinks him as this like quantitative brain that doesn't have the personality to it. I mean, he seems like a great guy.
He's what Bryson DeChambeau wants to be.
Yeah, he really is. But he hasn't like expressed that side of himself enough to become the face. Like, it almost was Cam Young for a second, but that's kind of faded.
He didn't play this weekend, did he?
I don't believe he played. No, he did not play. But he's on a streak of, I think it's 3 straight finishes outside the top 40, and the one before that wasn't that good either.
Can't be the face of the tour if I don't even know if you're playing in this event.
Yeah, but there was when he won the Cadillac and all that stuff was going around about him, going to church on Sunday morning with his family, and there was a moment where people were really starting to get on the train. But then the poor play came, and it's tough to find. Well, that's a conversation for another day. But that's an interesting topic. I'm curious to try to dig into that.
Speaking of players that we didn't
go for it.
Speaking of players that we didn't really know, or that. Did I miss something, or when was Keita Nakajima in contention?
He was kind of around. Like, it was on Sunday. I remember them showing a handful of his shots here and there. It was never really to like take the lead or like find himself all the way in. But it was, like it was. This isn't actually fair at all. The Paul George hits a three to cut the lead to 42. It wasn't quite that because he was obviously pretty close, but he was never like,
It's
he
Chris Paul,
bogeyed
by
his
the way.
16th. Chris Paul, sorry, not Paul George. I got one of the names right. Basketball.
Yeah.
Um,
50-50 odds.
yeah, he bogeyed his 16th hole to like fall another one back, birdie to 17th. He was never. I don't know. Maybe I'm misconstruing this. Maybe he was closer than I thought. He ended up finishing 4 back of Tom Kim, and I think by the time he started making birdies, like he was. I don't think he was ever within like 1 or 2. It was never a name that I was worried about actually winning the tournament, especially just because Tom Kim played such a crazy clean round, just bogey free 64. It was, kind of reminiscent of Aaron Rai at the PGA Championship. It's just like, this guy's not going to give it away the way he's playing. So somebody's going to have to come get him. And nobody really did. Nobody made the charge to go get him. But yeah, Kita Nakajima, T3, a couple other, and I'll mention that there was the Open qualifying series. The last few spots for the Open Championship got closed this week, and 3 of them came at the Scottish. And that was through just the top 3 players that weren't already qualified. Kita Nakajima already qualified, by the way. So he was not one of the players that received these exemptions. They went to Johnny Kiefer, one of the other players who was T3, Michael Thor Bjornsson, who was T7, which is, well, I'll talk about him in a second. And then it went to Victor Go Ballfrogs. And Victor Perez, technically, like, what is he, like the designated alternate for the Ballfrogs? Whatever. T9 for Victor Perez got him in as well. Yeah, Michael Thor Bjornsson is the one that stood out to me because I wrote a brief piece on Friday when it was him and Sudarshan were kind of in contention, and both of those players, they were both players that would have taken one of these spots. They weren't exempt for the Open already, basically, and they were names that it's like, man, they've had their moments and they just haven't quite closed, and because of that, they're like on the outside looking in. It was good to see Michael Thor Bjornsson. He comes through on, like, he was actually on the outside looking in. He was 1 spot out of it on Friday of what would have gotten him the exemption. And he came in with a 65 on Saturday. Really impressive. And a steady 69 on Sunday to hold that spot. And that's not something we've really seen from him. I know we've talked about this kind of ad nauseum at this point, but there was the WM Phoenix Open. He made the eagle on the 15th hole to get a 1-shot lead over Hideki Matsuyama at that point. And then he went bogey on 16 and 17 to lose that. And obviously Chris Goddard ends up winning that. And then the Players' Championship, he's playing alongside Ludwig Oberg in the final group. I think he shoots is it a 76? It might be even worse. I think he shot a 76, Ludwig shot a 75, something along those lines, to just be flat out of contention. And obviously he didn't win this week. He was in contention and he didn't win, but there was something on the line and he managed to stick around, go up and grab it. So that was an impressive sign. I don't know. It's been an erratic year for Michael Thor Bjornsson, but making birdies down the stretch, he was actually 2 over through 13 holes on Sunday, and managed to go 3 under in his last 5, to come back up and grab that T7 and grab that spot at the Open Championship. So that was good to see because we really haven't seen it at all this year from him, but an impressive finish for sure.
Yeah, I think, and then we obviously saw Robert McIntyre in contention at his home Open. That's always a good one to see. That driver off the deck.
That was too. I mean,
that driver off the deck was so good. That was like inches away from being probably the best shot of the last 5 years.
Yeah, I was surprised because I kind of missed that he kind of found his way back towards contention and ended up T3. I guess T3, was 4 shots back, but still, because I remember I obviously he was 3 over through 10 holes, and I remember them showing that bogey putt when he went 3 over through 10 holes and effectively took himself out of the tournament. And the announcers, Jim Nance, whatever, was like, and that'll probably, another bogey, he's dropped a 3 over on the day. And I was like, damn, that sucks. And then went eagle on 12, birdie on 14, birdie on 17, finds his way back up to T3. Good to show some resilience, instead of just fading when you're not playing well. Fight back, get a bunch of money for those 4 under par in the last, whatever that was, 7 holes. But yeah, I mean, when did he win it? Was it 2023 that he won this four? I think it was three,
I
right? And
think it
then
was
Rory
4.
2024. I don't
I
remember
think
which
it's
one
the
was Rory.
opposite.
It's the opposite. You might be right.
I think so. Yeah.
Last year, obviously, was Goddard, but I think you're right. I think it was 2023. We can sense check that, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, great finish out of him. Are there other names? I mean, Chris Goddard worth shouting out at T11. We don't need to go into detail for all these guys. Chris Goddard just continues to play awesome golf. He actually
Except for the
was,
final round, but
except for the final round. I was going to say he was T4, one back heading into that final round, but ends up falling out. It was funny to see. I mean, this didn't entirely manifest at the end, but it did a little bit. In that this tournament, and maybe it's just the fact that we don't see links golf very often, so this obviously becomes the truth, is that a lot of guys who are just good at this tournament are good at this tournament, and that shouldn't be surprising. But it's like Tom Kim, like we knew he had a great track record at the Genesis coming in. He ends up winning. Rory McIlroy has a ridiculous track record at this tournament. Ends up T7, and that's even with a 73 on Saturday. Robert McIntyre has won this tournament, and he ends up T3 as well. Chris Goddard ends up T11. If not for that final round, he won this tournament last year, obviously. Wyndham Clark has a good record here. He ends up T13. He's another guy who might win the Open Championship. But I think it's just the fact that it's links golf. But there's I need to remember next year when we're coming into the Genesis. It's like, no, the guys who play well here are probably just
going to play well.
They're just going to play well here.
And you look at there's just so links golf is just so awesome. Dude, and everybody just that's what when you're looking at these new for this new schedule for 2028, everybody's talking about Boston, New York, even Chicago. I would say skip all of that. Get Whistling Straits on the schedule full time. Get Bandon full time. Get those links style courses in America so that you can get or Chambers Bay even, so that you can get stuff like this on a weekly basis, because links golf is just so awesome.
Dude, there's an article that Riley Hamill put out for Scratch that is he asked the question, is the Scottish Open and the Open the best 2-week stretch in golf? And if you think about it, it certainly is, honestly. He provided a couple of rankings. I'll just give you the top 4. He gave Arnold Palmer Invitational in the Players is number 4. AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am followed by the Genesis, the U.S. Open and the Travelers, and then the Genesis and the Scottish. And a lot of that is because usually major championships are surrounded by not exciting events because you want players to play the big events, so they often won't put them back to back. But I was hard pressed to find one that I would argue with. I mean, it's the Masters and the RBC is the one thing that's left out that you'd probably be like,
yeah,
I would probably throw in above the AT&T, but I mean, I still would take Scottish and Open Championship above that. It's so
that's
fun.
I would
part
take.
That's because we're starved for it, but
Yeah, my two that I think Masters by itself just counts for 2 weeks, first and foremost. But
that's
I
what's
would
tough.
throw
Leaving
in
out the Masters hurts, but it's
that's a tough one. I would throw in, you said Pebble and the Genesis. I'd even take it a week earlier and go WM and Pebble.
Okay, I don't mind that.
And then
I can agree with that. I think the tough part with WM, and I think I'm always going to be partial to it because we were there.
I think that gives that ranking.
Yeah,
that's true. I agree, but I feel like you get good finishes though. You get
you do. It's a
Brooks Koepka. You get Koepka charging up the leaderboard. You get Thigala putting it in the water. You get Hideki blowing up on the last hole. You get you get those finishes each and every year. So I think it's an underrated tournament in that regard. I would almost say as well, not this is nostalgia rather than anything else. We're not going to see this anymore. I would argue that Kapalua Sony used to be up there for one of the best weeks, just because Kapalua is incredible, and it's also just the start of the new season. Everybody's excited. You've been starved for the off season. You get a really cool course with some of the best players in the world, and it's really fun. And then you just get that Hawaii vibes for the Sony too. And
I think it depends what you're looking for, because you're right. That is awesome to have that kick off the season. The WM is always super fun, and that's always one of the weeks that you mark on the calendar. You're even though it's Super Bowl week, you're like, well, no, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to be on my butt watching golf all weekend. But I think if you're looking for the 2 weeks where you're going to see the best and most interesting golf, I think it's really hard to argue against the 2 weeks of links golf that we got on the calendar. And again, part of that is that we only get 2 weeks of links golf on the calendar. So
exactly.
Inherently. But man, it is just so fun. And this is going to be the last. This isn't part of a preview, but this is going to be the last thing I say about the Open. It is going to be firm and fast, and I am so excited for the golf
going to be
that we're going to get this week. It's just going to be. I'm going to be waking up at God knows what hour to tune into the Open Championship just because I am starved to see Chris Gotterup hitting stingers that run 140 yards on the ground. I can't wait.
Yeah. I will say, but we just passed minute 40 of our Genesis recap. So I'll give my one last thought just to keep the door open heading into tomorrow. I know we talked about who is capable of winning, considering everybody else is not at that stage. So with that to close out the Genesis, I'll just say Victor Hovland? ?
I mean, it's either win or miss cut. It's something he absolutely could be up there. He absolutely could not be up there. But we'll save that for tomorrow. We'll save you the full the answer to that impossible question for tomorrow.
I'll leave you on a cliffhanger right there.
It's all contingent on what he brings to the range tomorrow. That's all.
Did you see Wyndham today?
With the coat hanger? Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. I like that he tried to. He was like, "Well, Mondays are my tinkering day."
It's like, no,
dude, you brought a coat hanger. You gotta give me more than that.
Yeah, you gotta own that one if you're gonna do something.
Also, he was like, "Yeah, I've been swinging it terrible." It's like, dude, you just won the US.
You just won a major, man.
13 this week. I promise you're all right. Reminiscent of Rory saying he sucks at golf when he hits the players to have a career Grand Slam to hit a big hook and then go, "I suck at golf." It's like everybody watching was like, "Man, no, you don't." But yes, let's travel to France. We're already overseas. Let's hop over to France. Thank you for changing the graphic, Nick. Let's hop over to France and talk Heyron Yu's second major, like we said, in I think 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, where she wins in a playoff over Brooke Henderson. What was the standout moments, shots, thoughts? What was your takeaway here, other than that there's a lot of majors and that Heyron Yu has 2 of them now?
Does Nelly Korda have company in the Player of the Year race now?
Not yet, but not yet. No, because she's won. No, not yet. But it's tightening up. I mean, you can have a conversation now. It's interesting, at least.
Yeah, because I guess first, before we give Heyron Yu her very due flowers, let's address the elephant in the room of Nelly Korda, who her most recent starts. She won the U.S. Open, placed T17 in the Dow Challenge because it was that team event. It's like you can kind of brush that one off. Finished at a pathetic, meager T8 at the KPMG Women's PGA, and then proved that she's human and missed a cut at the Evian. I think this is Evian Resort is a course that she hasn't played her best at across her career, and they kind of gave her a softball in her press conference at the beginning of the week to say something nice about the club and be like, what do you think what do you think of this course? She's like, it's the Evian. I've had good results, I've had bad results. The Evian's just the Evian. Clearly not that excited, and so she just missed the cut. We were talking earlier in the year, is she ever going to lose again? And then she missed a cut. It's just, you would never think that she would miss a cut anywhere, let alone at a major.
Yeah. It was funny, because this came, I forget how the times worked out, but this was within a couple hours after Scottie Scheffler missing the cut on Friday. It became clear that Nelly Korda might also miss the cut. And it was kind of just like a little bit of a whiplash. You were like, I was like, oh my God, Scotty Scheffler just missed the cut. And I'm like writing, this, I wrote a similar story to you, Nick, like what happened what was going on in 2022. You're dealing with all the social media stuff. Then you like, somebody messages you and you turn and they're like, Nelly Corda's about to miss the cut too. You're like, oh my God, like what's happening?
Yeah.
It was just a weird weekend for golf. Again, some of the best players in the world missing the cut for a very rare event for Nelly Corda. I mean, I don't entirely know the last time she missed a cut. I was obviously more recent than Scotty. I'm pulling up her results
2 years
right
ago.
now. It was 2 years ago
Yes.
in 2024. Okay. Yeah, she was 13 of 16 cuts made in 2024. Last year, she was 19 of 19 because, of course, she was. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not. I'm a little more worried for the rest of Nelly's year than I am Scotty's, because we kind of saw this in 2024 when she got off to a ridiculous and even better, frankly, start. I mean, she didn't win 2 majors, but she got off to a better start in that she went T16 at the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament of Champions, and then first T7 first was the start of her season in 2024, and then missed cut, and did not win again. She got one more win, and a couple other top fives, but the season fell off a little bit. So I think just the fact that we've seen not like precipitous drop off or anything like that, but we've seen a little bit of a drop off from Nelly after playing really, really good golf before. That maybe it's raising one more red flag for me than Scotty missing the cut does.
I think like she's, and I don't want to put words in her mouth. I don't want to, create a narrative that isn't there, but she's been very vocal over the course of the last few weeks that she's really starting to get tired of the Grand Slam conversations and really starting to get tired of the legacy conversations, which it's not her fault. Like I understand, but yeah, I would hate it too if everything I made was being contextualized within the grand scheme of my career. Like I understand why she's sick of hearing it, but like we're journalists. Like it's our job to do this. We're.
I think the tough part is you never want to it's like just because somebody's a celebrity or is really good at what they do, that obviously doesn't qualify for them to be subjected to weird stuff. And that comes up a lot with paparazzi. It's like, well, just because doesn't mean they're like test subjects that you get to go in with you get to stand outside their home waiting for them to walk out. But when it comes to you're the best golfer in the world.
There's nothing wrong with saying Nelly Corda.
And you've won 3 of the major championships, and you're 1 major championship away from winning the career Grand Slam and 2 major championships away from winning the Super Grand Slam. That's just going to be a conversation. And that's one where it's just, I understand where she's coming from. Like you said, I would hate to be overanalyzed like that. I would be reading every article and being like, man, why are they what do they say? All this stuff. I'm not the type of person that could handle that particularly well, but yeah, it's unfortunately it's an inevitability of being the best golfer in the world, is that your career is going to become a massive talking point when you're having one of the best seasons in LPGA Tour history. So
yeah, and that's where I'll say, I said that Scotty almost needed to miss the cut to sort of get this off his back, and I would say Nelly needed to miss the cut for a different reason. I think, Scotty needed to do it just because it was due for a while and it was going to happen at some point. Nelly, it was not due whatsoever and it was never going to happen. And she needed to do it to prove that she could still do it and that she is, in fact, a human being that is playing golf and not this dominant robot that is going to just destroy every single tournament. So her doing that almost brings her back down to a level that she justifiably got herself up to, but also, it takes her back down to the point where we're not going to hyperbole or hyperbolize. Is that a verb?
We'll use it. We know what it means.
We're journalists. We invent words all the time. We're not going to hyperbolize her career in that sense. It brings her back down to a level.
Yeah, she's at a place that probably to her feels achievable, and is achievable, frankly, because the bar is a little lower. But to move on to the playoff and the winners, the players who actually played well. Obviously, we said Heyron Yu. She won in a playoff over Brooke Henderson, who had maybe like you could probably say pretty unequivocally the craziest final round maybe ever. I mean, she's the first player in LPGA Tour history to have 3 eagles in one round, and it came in the final round of a major championship, and it included it included back-to-back eagles, which also included a hole-in-one. It also included an eagle on the 72nd hole to force a playoff with Heyron Yu. And at one point, it seemed like it might win. Heyron Yu actually made a longer birdie putt than Brooke Henderson made for eagle in order to start that playoff conversation and make Brooke Henderson make that putt.
But 6 feet versus 4 feet. Let's calm down.
It was like Heyron Yu was like 12. It was she had some distance on that putt. I think, at least. Maybe I'm misremembering, but yeah, I mean, and it just also was coming off a missed like 3.5 foot putt on the 17th hole where Brooke Henderson missed a putt for par. Obviously, hindsight 2020, whatever you want to say, if she had made that putt, maybe she wins this major championship. Maybe she plays the 72nd hole differently as well. Either way, the ability to stand up there knowing like I'm probably going to need to make an eagle on this hole to find my way into a playoff and just to stuff it is nuts. And then also from Heyron Yu's perspective, she drove it into the trees, had to chip out, and still got up and down, or at least had to lay up. It wasn't a direct horizontal chip out. She was able to advance the ball pretty far, but then was able to get up and down for her birdie. And, the playoff ends up, they go back onto the 18th hole. This time, Brooke Henderson's the one who finds the trees. She has to advance the ball and has to lay up. And she's unable to then get up and down from the rough almost chips it in for birdie, but doesn't. And Heyron Yu 2 putts for her birdie to win the Evian Resort Golf Club. The John Deere Classic still on the brain, man. Just love that tournament.
We turn the Evian into a major. Let's turn the John Deere into the 5th major.
Honestly,
let's start a movement.
Yeah, I don't know. That last round from Brooke Henderson was awesome. It was just really cool to watch. That eagle on the last hole was one of the cooler, like, need to do it and did it moments I've seen in a while.
I mentioned that, the Evian is the 5th major. It's a fresh major. It's a bit of a controversial major. People don't like that it's a major just because it's a bit more scoreable. And that it didn't help that Heyron Yu, shot a 60 on Saturday. Like, I think that's the reason why. Like, yeah, like you see her on 18, just like counting all the circles, and then you just see it like set into her face, like, oh my god, like I left a putt for 59 short.
She like looks at her caddy and she's like, that putt was for 59. Like,
yeah, like count this for me.
Yeah,
but yeah, like you just look at golf and like I think the reason that the final round was as crazy as it was because you have Heyron Yu making 9 birdies and a hole out eagle of her own on Saturday, and setting it's the lowest score in in women's major championship history. Has anyone on the men's side shot a 60?
They haven't. I think 62 is the lowest in men's.
Yes, I think it's
63 might be the lowest.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely it absolutely is the lowest in women's history. It probably is the lowest in men's history.
I know it is the lowest in men's. I'm just double checking if it's 63 or 62. It's 62 is the lowest in men's. Brandon Grace, 2017 Open. Ricky Fowler, 2023 U.S. Open. Xander Schauffele, 2023 U.S. Open and 2024 PGA. And Shane Lowry, 2024 PGA. Shout out Valhalla. But
yes,
yeah. Anyways, she's the lowest by 2 shots across golf. Period.
Yeah, which is incredible. But so then you go from that to not making a single birdie across 17 holes, and then you make 2 birdies in a row on 18, and then in the playoff. Like, that's just golf.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said, 2 birdies after not doing it all day. I mean, that's ridiculous.
And that's a round that, absolutely... It was what, a 70? It was a 71 in her final round? Mm-hmm. Or was it a 7? I think it was even. It was an even par 70, I think.
I think that'd be
could have easily let's
I'm looking at 71. So it was an even par 71.
71. Okay, that could have easily been a 75 or a 76.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shows just absolute resilience to just stay in it and keep yourself towards the line. And I have nothing but like she she kept the lead and she pushed forward at the PGA. She did it again at the Evian. I have nothing but praise for Hye-Ran Yu right now. Like she's by far one of the best golfers in the entire world right now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting too heading to the AIG Women's Open, because now you've got Nelly Korda with 2 majors on the year, Hye-Ran Yu with 2 majors on the year, and we're heading to the last one. That's the fun part about the 5 major structures, that when you get two women who both win 2 of them, you're like, all right, guys, tie break. We might as well just send the 2 of them out there and just remove the rest of the field. I don't want to see that. I just want to see Hye-Ran Yu and Nelly Korda try to battle it out for the 5th major and see who can walk away, because that is the title fight for the Player of the Year. I mean, if Hye-Ran Yu, despite all the other accolades that Nelly's racked up this year, if Hye-Ran Yu wins a 3rd major, I mean, I don't think you can argue with that, right?
Right. Like you could argue that momentum is on Hye-Ran's side right now.
Well, especially considering the fact that these are all so tightly bunched. I mean, like we said, I'm looking at the LPGA schedule right now. Obviously, we just had the Evian. We've got the Women's Scottish Open in 2 weeks, and then so there's 2 weeks, and then the AIG Women's Open. So obviously, those are pretty tight. 1 event in between them, and there was 0 events between the Evian Championship and the Women's PGA Championship. There was 1 week off.
We got to do something about that. Like
it's 5. It's what is that? That means it's 6 weeks where we have 3 majors. If my math is right, I might be wrong. I think I'm right. 6 weeks, 3 majors. It is kind of, I mean, it makes it fun, but it does make it so that when you have a player like Hye-Ran Yu, if she's just riding a hot hand, if she's playing really good golf at the right moment, you can knock off 3 majors in a month and a half, which is in golf world, like you can get hot for a month and a half. That happens. We've seen it happen on the PGA Tour. Like random guys can get a month and a half a good place. Sudarshan Yelmarahu did it like earlier this year, like out of nowhere. Imagine Sudarshan Yelmarahu.
In hindsight, what did he do? What did he do? He finished 11th at the
T5
like,
players. That was it.
I love how like
it's totally different than Hye-Ran Yu winning 2 majors, by the way, and he wasn't close.
We treated this guy like he was the best player in the world, and for all like a T5 finish.
It wasn't a contention T5 either.
Not even at all.
Oh, look at this! I think they showed like 3 shots on Sunday. We're like, oh, okay. But it is like, it all being in 6 weeks. Basically, my point is that it just means that you can get hot and win a bunch of majors really fast if you're good enough. And Hye-Ran Yu is doing that. We'll see if she can keep it going into the Open, keep it going into next year. Who knows? Obviously, the ceiling is infinitely high, I guess. But yeah, 2 majors in 2 weeks. That's got to be a lot of fun. I mean, actually, let me see. Do they have the purse? Like, do they show how much they win? Right? Yeah. So 1.4 million for Hye-Ran Yu at the Evian, and then if we jump over to the Women's PGA, which is for this website, man, I can't do it. I can't do this website. LPGA, we gotta come to some sort of thing here. Okay, and that's 1.95 million at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. So if my math is right, that's what, 3.35 million in 2 weeks. It's pretty good.
And the funniest part of that is that she doesn't really even care about that. Like when they asked her after the PGA, they're like, "What are you like? What are your takeaways?" She's like, "Oh well, when they announce me on the tee box at every tournament, they're gonna now say major champion Hye-Ran Yu, and they weren't saying that before, and now they're gonna say 2-time major champion." I think she said yesterday, she's like, 3 weeks ago, it's exactly like you said, Will. 3 weeks ago, she's no-time major champion, and now she's 2-time major champion Hye-Ran Yu, and like it's been she's been saying from the start that this is just absolutely a dream, and doesn't want to wake up anytime soon, nor should she.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I don't know how much. Is there anything else we want to add to Hye-Ran Yu? Brooke Henderson's finishes there. There are a couple other players I want to give a shout. on the way down the leaderboard, but I don't want
to
to take us away too fast. I do want to give a shout to my pick because I didn't quite victory lap, but I think I jinxed her, and I'm sorry, Lottie Wood. I did pick you for this tournament. You had the 36-hole lead, and I was feeling pretty good. I did in the tweet where I said a couple things are true. One, I'm sharp. Two, this is going to go horribly, and boy, it went horribly. T16, respectable finish at a major championship from Lottie Wood, but her rounds
not
going
when you're
67.
The 36-hole co-later.
Yeah, 67, 64, 72, 73 on the weekend. Again, it's a par 71. So 3 over par on the weekend. Just not going to get it done. A good performance, but selfishly, I was hoping for more, and I was a little bit excited when I saw that 36-hole. I'm still riding the high, the Chris Gotterup correct pick, so I was hoping to run it back. Didn't quite make that happen, but
he's not here. But that lucky bastard did it again.
I know. We should have mentioned that off the top. Kyle did in fact pick Hair on You. I think he's actually out victory lapping right now. He might have been a couple too deep to get on the pod. I don't know. Maybe he's just really excited about correctly picking Hair on You. Another win for our guy. He saw me get one on the board, and he was like, "Well, I need the lead back." So now he's got his second correct pick on the year with Hair on You there. Nick's gonna get one someday. We're not too worried about him. He's got one. He's just waiting for the right moment. He's been waiting for the 4th major on the men's circuit all year to make his correct pick, and it's coming tomorrow. So make sure you tune in because it's inevitable that it'll be right this time. Other names like we mentioned, actually, I don't think we did mention Aki Iwai, who finished solo 3rd and had a really emotional interview after the fact. She had a birdie putt on the 72nd hole to get into that playoff. She too, like Heyron, you had to punch out of the trees, lay up, didn't hit as good an approach shot, ended up with a pretty long birdie putt. Made the 2-putt, made the par, solo 2nd, 1 shot back, but wasn't able to get into the playoff. And then, had an interview afterwards where kudos to her for just hopping on the mic pretty much immediately after a pretty intense, or heartbreaking is the wrong word, but like a very emotional moment for a player in their golfing career to get on the mic and be willing to answer questions. And obviously she broke down and it was a really like beautiful and emotionally intense moment. But a great finish from her to get solo 3rd. I don't know if you have anything to add there, Nick. Miyu Yamashita and Mao Saigo also in that T4 conversation. But again, they were 3 shots behind Aki. So there was a pretty big gap between the top 3 and then the next set there.
Yeah, and Aki Iwai, she shot a 63 in her, I think it was 9 under in her first round as well. Or maybe it was
8 under. Yeah, math is hard. We're journalists. Math is hard.
Yes, we did this to avoid numbers. 8 under. Great opening round as well, but just couldn't. This is, I think it definitely wasn't Evian records or anything like that, but I think this is back-to-back majors where Aki Iwai shoots 8 under. I think Ina Yoon shot 9 under at the PGA on her first day and just couldn't, I don't know, was Nelly leading after either of the first 2 days? I don't think so.
At the PGA? No, I don't think she was leading.
Not at the PGA, but at the Chevron, I don't know. And
in her wins. Oh,
that's definitely not at the US Open.
No.
So maybe it's, you got to almost intentionally tank in your first round and then do what you do the rest of the Friday through Sunday. I don't know if I'm noticing a trend here, but.
Well, it's like the beginning of the year with Scotty Scheffler. Just every week it was almost win because you set yourself just a little too far back on Thursday. Not quite to the same, but don't do that. But maybe
I did, I'll give myself some credit. I did better than I usually do. I thought it was going to be the week for Gino Tidekul. She finished T10, 2 over 72 on her first day, and 64 on her second day, 67, 70. These are, good numbers, not Excuse me, it was a 1-0 for 72 on the first day. I gotta stop. I'm doing this to myself here.
No numbers for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I'm grounded from math, but once again, like we said from a lot of different players, like good numbers, like good finish, just not gonna get it done. Like,
yeah. I mean, it was a good performance, and we did well with our picks. I mean, all three of us in the top 16 is pretty solid work. Again, we also picked like 3 of the top 4 or like 3 of the top 5 and on something like that. We weren't standing out on any skinny limbs, but no, it was Gino played well, and like obviously or maybe not obviously, but it's going to happen one day for her. She's going to get one of these major championships.
It absolutely is,
and she's starting to play better too, more consistently at them. Yeah, I mean, again, she's pretty much 2 rounds here with a 72 to open and a 70 on Sunday. 2 good rounds, just a couple shots off, shave a couple shots from each of those, and she's right in the mix. And it's coming. Again, she's another player where she's been around for so long, but you look up and what is she, 22 years old? Like,
yeah,
we got lots of time. We got lots of time, and again, 5 majors a year for her, so she's got like, even more time, even more opportunities. She will no doubt find her way to the top of the leaderboard for one of these.
Yeah. And I think, just looking back at, just the amateurs that, we've always said, heading into this, that there's a lot of different majors or a lot of people. I can't speak right now. There's a lot of.
We've been going for an hour. The hour mark is where we kind of lose our minds, I think.
There's a lot of amateurs that find themselves in contention at majors. There we go. The big storylines heading into this week was Chiara Romero sitting even at 19 points. If she made the cut, she would get the 1 point that she needed in order to get her LPGA card. She did not make the cut, sadly. It just didn't pan out for her. Our low amateur this time around was Farrah O'Keefe for, I believe, the second time. She was a low am at the Chevron as well. And so finished T35 at 5 under, had a 74. I'm not going to tell you how much over par it is. I'm just going to trust that you know that I know. But 74 in her second round, not great, but 68, 68, 69, and her other 3, like, could have, she mentioned after the round as well that, like, there were a few putts where if she made them, then maybe she could get the top 10 and get a second league point. But, she's up to 17 herself now. So I guess the race is between her, Chiara Romero at 17, and then Maria Jose Marin has 17 as well. So we'll see what Farrah does this offseason, but she's playing in the USAM, and then maybe we'll see if she gets some sponsors invites anytime soon. But for now, I think they asked her, like, what are you going to be doing? I think the exact quote, I'll read you to it. I'm gonna go try to get some rest, go home, probably not touch a club for 5-6 days, get a massage, get my nails done, and then get back to work. Probably boot up some Fortnite in between, like.
Of course, yeah, sounds like a perfect recipe. Is there any clarity? Maybe it's different with it being the Open. Is there any clarity on who the amateurs in the Open field are going to be at this point? I guess we probably don't know.
Not at the moment, and we'll probably know very soon.
Yeah,
judging by what she said, I take it that Farrah O'Keefe is not going to be playing in the Open Championship, but where the Women's Open, right?
It's 3 weeks from now.
Yeah,
it ends 3 weeks from yesterday. So, yeah, 3 weeks from now.
So, we'll see. I mean, I think given that it's so close in proximity, we'll probably have that field very soon, and we'll be able to know who's in it. I find it hard to believe that Chiara Romero isn't going to get some sponsors invite, and I quite frankly don't see her returning to Oregon this fall.
It feels super unlikely with all that's left in this summer, with all the sponsors invites she can get. She's likely to be at the Open. Obviously, there's the USAM. There's plenty of there's enough opportunities for her this summer that it's hard to believe that she's not going to find her way to that 20th point. I will say I was curious, and I should have looked into this. I was wondering how long. I guess I don't know the right way to frame this question. This has to be the highest the low amateur has finished in a decent amount of time, I would guess. Because obviously, like we've said, the amateurs and the women's majors are usually pretty successful. Usually you kind of find
highest is in the worst.
Yes, yeah, sorry. It's tough with like
Okay.
whatever. But yeah, as in like you said, Farrah, what was it, T35 that Farrah O'Keefe finished?
Yeah.
T35. Yeah, she finished one shot in front of Yunxiao Yang, who was another amateur, one back from her. But I have to imagine that, like I said, we usually see amateurs in the women's game kind of settle around that top 15 to top 25 range at majors. Usually you have one or two that are kind of in that mix. And top 35, like T35 is plenty impressive. That is no slouch of a finish at an LPGA major by any stretch of the imagination. But in terms of what we've seen, and maybe you're going to look it up right now, Nick, and tell me that it was actually last major championship at the women's PGA or at the women's US Open or something recent. But that feels on initial, like just by glancing at it, makes me think that that feels high for what we usually see, or low, I guess I should say.
I'm trying to find. I don't think there was a low amateur for the PGA.
Did nobody make the cut?
I don't think they did.
Well, then there goes my point. Completely moot. That's a shame.
Yeah, no, but like I know Kiara Romero had, I think, what was it, T9 at the US Open. I think Farrah O'Keefe was something very similar as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of good
at the Chevron. Yeah, so yeah, I think you're definitely right. This is probably the highest, worst. We use the W word here. This is the worst that an amateur has finished at a major championship this year. It's still an amateur at a major championship, though. Like that's, Farrah O'Keefe is an incredibly talented player. So.
Oh yeah, it is not unimpressive, and I forgot. I guess maybe I should have recognized this, that the PGA doesn't have amateurs in the field. It seems
that'll do it.
Which I guess would make it hard for them to make the cut. However, yeah, anybody else that we want to give a shout out to? I think we mentioned a lot of the top finishers that were really, really impressive. There's one more tournament. Do it.
Do we mention Lydia Ko?
No, we didn't. The T7 out of Lydia Ko was really impressive. That was really good. She had her husband on the bag. Yeah.
And like that's good. Like every caddy has their sort of relationship with their caddy. Like you're gonna have Ted Scott has talked about how when Scotty is airing out his frustrations, he's not mad at Ted Scott. He's just mad and needs somewhere to direct it. And so you kind of just got to let him talk. You see Spieth and Greller just kind of going at it, the two of them, like engaging in doctoral dissertations before every single shot. And then you have Lydia Ko's husband on the bag this week that straight up said, "Oh, if you're going to play like this, I don't want to caddy for a wuss." And then that was all of the motivation that she needed.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting concept to dive into the player caddy relationships on the PGA Tour versus the LPGA Tour, because she's not alone in having like a husband or boyfriend be on her bag, or a brother or a father or stuff like that. Like there are a lot of I feel like the relationships on average on the LPGA Tour between player and caddy are very different than they are on the PGA Tour. And that'd be a fun one to kind of dig into a little bit.
Yeah, like caddies on the PGA Tour get yelled at. Caddies on the LPGA Tour get ice cream. Did you see that one?
Yeah, that was was it Charlie Hull that got ice cream?
Yes, Charlie Hull's boyfriend brought the two of them ice cream at the turn, and I think they're talking about it on TV, and it was like the ice cream in like a cup. That's acceptable. Like I'd probably do it, honestly. Like I mean that's a bit of sugar on a hot day. Like I don't know if that's the move right there, but
it's just bold. It's a lot of milk when you're walking around in the sun.
That is a lot of milk right there. But the cone, that's the part that drives me nuts.
Hands get sticky.
The cone. I know. Like I don't even like putting on sunscreen because then my hands get all like. So the cone was a bold choice, I think. But like looking at they caught the caddy, like she housed that thing very, very quickly. So didn't have time for it to get messy, but
Yeah. Well, there was one other PGA Tour event that I honestly, I got to be honest, Nick, I barely paid attention to. There was enough golf going on
yeah,
at the Genesis, enough golf
yeah,
going on at the Evian. The
this
ISCO
was
stuff
probably the
obviously sucked.
busiest week. Yeah,
Well, it's
it's
also, I think
no disrespect, but like it gets thrown into the golf around the world category.
it does. And part of that too is because ironically, it's the one event that was actually in the US. But part of what made it tough for me to like really lock in for it is that the time zones meant that the Genesis and the Evian were ending like, around noon or around 1. So I'm like kind of sitting 1 p.m. Central Time, I should say. I'm like sitting here watching golf all morning, and then the afternoon rolls around, and I'm like, oh, cool. Like I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna work out, whatever. And then I like get some random notification on my phone while I'm out. And it's like the ISCO is going to a playoff. I was like, oh, cool. Like,
Nice.
all right, yeah, like awesome. And that playoff was between Stephen Fisk and Taylor Pendrith. Stephen Fisk gets his second PGA Tour win. I believe it was a 3-hole playoff, which is always, maybe I ought to watch that back. It was at least interesting. But yeah, it was, I believe, his second win. I think the other win that he has is not, he won one last year. Which one? It was the Sanderson Farms Championship in FedEx Cup Fall. Are we working our way up the ranks of PGA Tour events by going from Sanderson to ISCO? Maybe not.
Perhaps, like a
It's a
lateral
win.
leap.
Yeah, laterally making your way up the ladder. It's actually, the ladder's on the ground. It's lying down. You're just crawling on it. No, it's a win on the PGA Tour, and that means something for sure. And yeah, I mean, it wasn't the craziest field. I think Aaron Wise was another name that's become a pretty big storyline following this event. Obviously, he was the 2018 PGA Tour Rookie of the Year before. I mean, he didn't, play fantastic golf in between, but he did take some time off. He's a one-time PGA Tour winner. He did take some time off over the past few years for mental health reasons. He stepped away from the game. Pretty much didn't play for like 2 full years between the middle of 2023 and the middle of 2025, basically after the US Open in 2023 up until the Canadian Open in 2025. And he started this year fairly unceremoniously with 6 straight missed cuts. Not the way you want to start a year, but he's come back with a T39 at the John Deere Classic, a T3 at the ISCO. Trending up, and it's always good to see, like you said about, the Tom Kim comeback story of him, finding his way back into the fray. It's really good to see guys, especially those. I mean, Bud Colley's another example of this, who were forced to take some time away from the game, that find their way back to high levels of golf on the PGA Tour. So that was obviously inspirational and just impressive golf. T3 finish. Yeah, it was
and,
stuff.
Lucas Glover in contention for the second consecutive week. Like, this is, he's no longer wearing khakis on the tour. I think he's smart there. Like, if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, just look up Lucas Glover.
We're not going to describe this one.
Yeah, that's
almost double Tom Kim's age, by the way. He's almost 2 Tom Kim.
That's crazy. That's the perfect.
Like, he's a year and a couple months short of it, but almost double Tom Kim's age.
That's crazy. But yeah, it's, he was in contention. I think he was talking about doing it for the old guys at the John Deere. Which, speaking of the old guys, I don't know if the Champions Tour is in our agenda, but Zach Johnson just continues to beat up on the old guys
out there,
and which got him into the Players Championship. Apparently, I didn't know that was a thing. But
what was the event on the Champions Tour?
The colleague something.
I don't know.
We were a little busy.
Too much golf going on.
We were a little
busy. Too much golf going on.
But
yeah, I will say Lucas Glover. I just had his tab up, and what was I looking at? Yeah, Lucas Glover, 2 top 5s in the last couple of years. He won the U.S. Open in 2009, 17 years ago, which is not like, I know that doesn't make, he's like 46 years old. He's not like ancient by any stretch of the imagination. He's playing great golf, obviously. That's just nuts. 2009 was a while ago. I mean, think about how different the golf world looked in 2009 when Lucas Glover won that major championship compared to what it is now. But yeah, T3, T5, doesn't matter the stage, doesn't matter. John Deere's a great tournament to be. T3, ISCO, doesn't matter the stage. T3, T5 is going to help you a lot, get you in a lot of places, get you a lot of points, and get you a lot of money. And that's why we pick
Which is like he's even said now, he's like, I don't care about the FedEx Cup. Like he's like, I'm not doing this for the points. He's like, I'm doing this to have fun and play golf and compete. And if he can put together these good results and like prove something to himself there, like that's great.
Yeah, I did have one other tournament in the Golf Around the World to give him a
hold
great
on.
shout. Oh, you're
Hold
not done?
on.
There's
What
more?
about Jackson Coylan?
Oh, right. Yes, you're right. He got his first top 10. That's worth talking about. His first professional top 10, I should say. Good to see. I'll let you take that one. I mean, we talked a little bit about the fact that he was just bait as the favorite for this week, but
yeah, I was gonna say like I don't have much there, but just 67, 68, 66, 67.
Consistency, baby.
That's all you can ask for. Puts together a nice top 10. Entered the week as the favorite. Did he deserve to be the favorite? Probably not. But like we said, DraftKings got to make money somehow.
Right, because they're strapped. Otherwise, they're pretty strapped for cash. If they hadn't put Jackson Coylan as the favorite, they would have struggled.
Did you see that? I didn't verify this because I don't sports bet, not to like be on my high horse here, but I'm not on any of these apps, but apparently people were still able to bet on the Scottish after Tom. So I think like Tom Kim and like 3 others like odd, but like you could still put down something on like just trying to see who was you could probably you could put a line on Johnny Kiefer for like plus 100,000 even after the like I don't know if this is real or not, but I was seeing screenshots of that, and I don't know if that was real or not, but
I mean, if you're betting on Johnny Kiefer plus 100,000 to win the golf tournament after it's over and he didn't win, we might need
call
to
the hotline, man.
Yeah, we might need to reevaluate some stuff and look in the mirror.
Yeah, but so with that, I believe Miles Russell was in the field at the ISCO and did not make the cut.
Damn.
But unfortunate there. But with that being said, I will let you go.
You'll cede your time.
Take me
we're
around
not going
the world,
that far. We're just going to Lake Tahoe. It's a pretty good spot for the American Century Championship, the great celebrity golf PGA Tour event crossover Stableford event that also has Annika Sorenstam in the field. A lot of fun. I mean, there's not a ton here. Marty Fish wins. He's won twice now, I think. He won this year over Joe Pavelski and then Steph Curry and then Annika Sorenstam. Joe Pavel. It's kind of it's funny. It's pretty much like a Marty Fish versus Joe Pavelski versus Steph annual tournament. They've won a lot of recent events.
I just love you got Marty Fish defeating the former captain of the San Jose Sharks, aka the Fish, Joe Pavelski.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Fish versus Fish.
Nick, this is why we keep you around. You give us these great
exactly.
Points. That's what we need.
Right.
There's got to be.
I can't do math, but I can make some puns.
If there is Curry, does that have to do with fish at all? I don't know. There's got to be another.
You season the fish a little bit,
Sure, whatever. We're grasping at straws now. But did you see that at the ACC, Colin Yost, the host of SNL, was chipping with a broomstick wedge?
That was him. I didn't realize that was him.
I'm pretty sure that was Colin Yost.
Yeah. Oh my
Which
god.
I think is broadly unacceptable, to be honest.
Yeah.
The broomstick putter's bad enough. The scenarios in which you use a broomstick wedge are so few and far between. Like, you have to just barely be in the rough for that to be practical, because you can't. There's no shot you're swinging that with any speed, right? Like, you can't be more than 2 yards off the green to make that make any sense.
And that's where it's like, I know, like, we've talked about Matt Fitzpatrick's chipping form ad nauseum here, and it's been talked about ad nauseum for years, but I don't know if anybody has ever asked him, like, what is the farthest out you will? Because, like, he's not going crosshand for, like, his stock, like.
No, I bet you it's like somewhere.
Like,
I think he'll do it from like 30 yards or so. But I don't.
I'm really curious, like, where the crossover, no pun intended, like, where that crossover line is.
Yeah, I wonder, because he's also, he is. Yeah, if I'm 41 yards, I won't do it. If I'm 39 yards, I will do it. But I also, for me, it would be such a feel I wonder if it's also just like a feel thing. Like if you're standing over it and you're like, no, I'm going to cross hand this one. Like I feel good about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like
I
he's
mean, I'd
data
love to
oriented
just have that
enough.
luxury.
I know, right? I feel like he's data oriented enough that he probably does, frankly, have like a pretty harsh cut line somewhere where he's like, no, 41 yards is not cross hand, 40 yards is cross hand.
Yeah.
Obviously, depending on lines and stuff.
But yeah, that's broomstick wedge. Like,
no,
what are we doing here?
That can't be a thing that becomes popular. That's never making it to the PGA Tour, anyways, because they don't.
No, there's no chance.
Anyway. But
is that even conforming?
Probably not. I mean, I don't know. Bryson's got really long wedges. Not quite.
Can't wait to bring that one up later in the week.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all I got from the ACC. I don't know. It's out in Lake Tahoe. It looked beautiful out there. It looks like a blast. I mean, an out of very unachievable life goal would be to get that invite one day.
Yeah.
When we go big,
we already maybe our invite for the Creator Classic is in our email, which is crossing the bottom of the screen right now. So you and me will complete the trifecta. We'll get the real Grand Slam of the Creator Classic, the ACC, and the Pebble Beach Pro-Am.
Yeah, they're gonna be pissed when I shoot like a 95 at the Creator Classic. They're not gonna be huge fans of that. Yeah. Oh well, but I don't know. Did we miss anything? Is there anything we need to add? Anything we need to tease ahead of the Open Championship, the final major of the year, other than the fact that it's going to rock? We're going to have firm, fast wind, maybe a little rain, but hopefully not. Everybody who's anybody's going to be there, except for me.
I mean, the Spieth Hive is in for the highest of highs or the lowest of lows.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, a little background. He won it in 2017 at Royal Birkdale, very famously from the range with the drop. It was all the shenanigans there. He ended up winning that major championship. But, yeah, it's going to be your emotions are going to be hanging by a thread, Nick, and they're going to be swinging back and forth quite erratically.
Like, I could so see him doing like the a la Brooks Koepka of like just getting your random top 10 at a major this year. I could also see him just flat out missing the cut.
It does feel somewhat inevitable that he's going to shoot like a 65 on Thursday.
Because like
they can't put you guys down that quickly. They need to keep you interested, and to do that,
right.
Jordo's got to lay down a 65.
And and this is all I'm gonna say because I'm not gonna be able to stop myself afterwards. But the putter the final round of the John Deere. The putter looked good.
Yeah, we'll save it up for tomorrow. Jordan will get his airtime tomorrow. Not that much of it, but he'll get some airtime. We got to talk about the past champ. Well, he's the past champion. We got to give him some respect when we talk about the past Royal Birkdale champion, I should say. So we'll have to give him some respect, but. There's a lot to talk about tomorrow. We got to save some breath for that. I don't know, Nick. We got a next on the tee. I almost forgot. I'm missing Kyle here. It's an hour 28 in. I'm losing steam. I'm kind of forgetting where we're going here. But next on the tee, we kind of already said this, but we will be going tomorrow with the full Open Championship preview. I think tomorrow will end up being the day rather than Wednesday. It's going to be a blast. Last major of the year. We're going to get our teams. I got to set up those tiers and everything. We're going to make our picks. It's going to be a lot to talk about tomorrow. It's going to be a sick week. It's going to absolutely rock.
It's going to be so sick.
The one bad part about the Open is the time difference, man. Just the 2 a.m. tee times hurts the soul when you see that. You just know you're going to wake up and a third or half the field is going to be done with their morning round. Or with their first round when you wake up. You have to catch up on all that stuff. But there's something magical about that too, waking up to that on your phone, just scrolling through at 7 a.m. trying to figure it out. But with that, we will catch you guys tomorrow. Thank everybody for tuning in. Looking forward to the final major championship of the year. We made it. It's Open Championship season. Nick, any last words?
Any final thoughts?
Is that what it is?
Our socials, I don't know if we went through those. Center Cup at Center Cup Pod, Twitter, Instagram, centercup.pod, same as the TikTok, email where you can join our Creator Classic message and give it some company. centercup.pod@yahoo.com. And then he says, any final thoughts?
Any final thoughts, Nick?
No.
No. All right. Well, that'll do it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.